What's up, guys? Jake here back with some Fatal 12. We're finally getting back to the main character of this game because Alan Scorpion is our main character. He's been tailing Rinka for the past few days. It brought him to the residential district where Ushizuka Shi, whose name he has yet to learn, lives. What's more, he's learned the whereabouts of both her school and Lion House. That seems really bad because Alan is a dickhole. Seeing that she's making her way to school after obtaining the elderly man's name card, he chooses to stop tailing her for the time being. He closes his eyes and recalls her figure. Okay, creepy. She's in high school, sir, and you're a scorpion. Rinka. Eliminating her would prove a simple task. Were he to actively focus on it, she's the main character and she's probably gonna win. However, a number of reasons prevent him from doing so. The first is her relationship with number 2, Miharu. She may have gone to lengths to make it seem like they had a falling out, but Alan witnessed them being friendly at Lion House. Wow, what a creeper. It confirmed to him that they are, in fact, still cooperating. One cannot target Shishimi Rinka without first dealing with Hibidaru Miharu. Alan has no idea which card she was dealt at the beginning either, which is the main reason for his hesitation getting involved with her. Her actions during the previous election show she can't be underestimated. She may have eliminated a girl far younger than herself, but she went head-to-head with number 11 to get the election rights. The biggest reason of all, however, is that Alan has found herself under suspicion from Japan's police. That's so weird. He looks like such an innocent, trustworthy guy with the last name of Scorpion. His recklessness while obtaining Kumiko Kabuki's information has landed him in a tight spot. You threatened to kill like 10 babies, dude. He had made sure to scout out the positions of each camera in the hospital and cut off those he couldn't avoid, but something unexpected happened. He somehow ended up on the list of suspects responsible for the attack at the hospital. I have a question. If she wasn't there, right, then who was he talking to while he was at the hospital? The events can't be the same if she died like 3 weeks ago, right? Under normal circumstances, he would use illegal means to ensure he would not be arrested, but his current situation doesn't allow for that. Why? Why can't he do that? You know, especially because he holds far less influence in Japan than he did in India, where his company is based. Thank you for clarifying. He may have some leeway, but now is no time to flex those muscles. Poor Kane, no, now is exactly the time to flex all of your muscles, right? Valid as the reasons are, Alan's simply using them as a means to distract himself from the reality of the matter. There's a far simpler reason behind his choice not to pursue Rinka, one that he did not notice, that he had noticed earlier. The look in her eyes that reminded him of himself. Not only does she lack his amassed fortune, but she's also nowhere near as physically imposing, and yet somehow her eyes burned with a determination matching his own. More importantly, Alan has the chance to learn the old man's name the same way Rinka did, but he opts not to. Why? What? To be more accurate, he can't. Why? This is thanks to his spotting a particular duo keeping their eyes on the old man's house. Number 3 and 11. Alan arrived after Rinka's departure, so they likely had no idea she was also there. Number 11 is in possession of number 5's name card, if I recall. I wish they had, easier names. There was more than enough reason to understand why she was here now. With sufficient connections at one's disposal, learning where someone lives based on their name alone is a simple feat. What surprises Alan is the fact that someone like her would cooperate with number 3. The sheer stupidity he displayed in the Court of Fate had Alan convinced he could be left for later, but that was no longer the case if he's with number 11. It may not seem like it, but Alan has respect for those who have eliminated other participants. The only 2 people who have earned his respect thus far. One is Miharu and the other is number 11, the Snake Lady. Alan can also tell that the latter is no ordinary person, mostly because she's a snake. One glance was all he needed to understand her background and the deeds in which she had been involved. Based on what he's seen, she seems to have the upper hand with number 3. He must be your foot soldier of sorts. Regardless, I know now what I must do. His target switches from the old man to those 2. Keeping on them will likely lead to him getting his hands on number 5's info without much effort. Not only that, but discovering where they're based now while unaware of his plans will give him the advantage down the line. That may be enough to make up for the disadvantages his celebrity status gives him. He begins to tail the 2, taking extra care not to be noticed. If you didn't want to be noticed, maybe change out of your traditional Indian garb. And also, don't wear bright purple. It stands out, you know? Try beige. Beige is boring. You could probably introduce yourself wearing all beige and they wouldn't even remember. Soon after, Alan returns to the residential district. His attempts to tail them hadn't ended as well as hoped. Not from being noticed, though. Alan trusts himself not to slip up when it comes to that. Yeah, as the CEO of an Indian company, he's obviously a master of stealth. However, those 2 must have unconsciously taken a path to shake any potential pursuers. Or consciously taken a path to shake any potential pursuers. Because they're not stupid. What? It eventually led to him losing sight of him. Wow, you're really bad at this. My priority should lie with number 11. He mutters to himself so as not to stand out. Here's an idea. If you don't want to stand out, don't mutter to yourself. He then makes his way back to his own base of operations. The time's come for him to finally take action. Okay, I guess we'll find out what that is later. Bye, Alan Scorpion. I love you. Anyways, after a long day, I finally have some time to relax in my room. Nothing noteworthy happened beyond this morning's events. Although, I guess the fact my class has finally gotten around to prepping for the Culture Festival counts as noteworthy. No, it doesn't. Sounds like they're moving forward with the fortune teller idea. Wow, that's really boring. The one in charge will essentially prepare a bunch of fortune-telling methods and use them on whoever stops by. They've gone with this plan because the one in charge wants to test out those so-called methods. Okay, you're making it sound like a weird sex thing, and I'm very uncomfortable with that. Fortune-telling. Reading one's fate. Funny how they ended up with that after all the things I've experienced. At least I'm not involved in the plans or being asked for my opinion. They're just gonna ask me Mahara to help the day of. Mel, on the other hand, seems fascinated by the whole thing. She'll be helping to prep it as well as work longer than we will during the festival. All I gotta do is act serious and mutter some cryptic shit. That's right up my alley. Just what you'd expect to hear from her. We all know Mao. I wonder if they'll manage to finish everything on time since the Cultural Festival's in 2 weeks. I bet we're the only class this far behind schedule. I doubt it. It's high school. Whew. I already feel exhausted and it's barely 10 p.m. Wow, what a party animal, dude. Well, it makes sense considering I left the house so early this morning. Some name, that old guy. I repeat the elderly man's name in my head and make sure I don't forget it. You have a card with it written down. How are you going to forget it, you dingus? I have to find this cause of death and regret, but I'm not sure how to go about it. I'm still curious about that girl staying with him, too. Well, I do have her cause of death card. All I know is that a fire is involved, nothing else. That's probably the biggest issue with the cards dealt with us at the beginning. First things first, I gotta plan what to do moving forward. How do we know it's her death card? Whatever. As if things aren't difficult enough, I've got Federico and Eleven to worry about as well. Things may have gone well enough yesterday and today, but that doesn't mean I'm a pro when it comes to tailing people and such. It's entirely possible I'll mess up at some point and get myself stuck in a tight spot. Regardless, I can't sit back and let those two get the upper hand. One option is to throw caution to the wind and approach Yushi directly, but that's too risky. Number 11 would likely end up adding me to her list of targets alongside him and the girl if I did that. I tried searching Ushishiganuki on the internet, but don't get any relevant results. Getting info on him without putting myself out there seems tricky. I can't just waltz over to City Hall and ask for his family register when I'm completely unrelated to him either. That's why I'm going to approach things from a different angle. I do have an advantage over that duo. The majority of the participants, myself included, are from Japan. Plus, most are located near Shinjuku, an area rich with schoolgirls just like me. Hey, maybe I should move to Shinjuku. It keeps me from standing out in most situations, which is advantageous. The only issue is that the sole approach I can think of involves questioning the locals' nearest residents. Actually, that might not be too bad of an idea, because it's a terrible idea. I did shuffle over there pretty early this morning, so there weren't many people around, except for like 4 other participants, dude. It's probably why those two showed up when they did too. They aimed for a time when few people would be around. But as for me, I don't need to worry about standing out. You have, like, bright blonde hair and red eyes. What the fuck are you talking about? It hardly seems normal to ask a question about some random old man, but hey, I still seem less suspicious than either of those two doing the same. If I really need to, I can even pretend to be the granddaughter of an ex-wife or something. I just need to act like Naomi did at the hospital where Kiko was. I'll try going in the evening. Everyone's running around shopping around then. What? Not only does it give me more people to question, but I can blend into the crowds if I need to. With that sorted, I should sleep as much as possible so I'll be ready to take action by tomorrow evening. But just as I'm about to turn off the lights, I hear a distinct meow coming from down by my feet. It's none other than Leth, our friendly little freeloading cat. Oh, what is it, Leth? I always make sure to feed it and have water out, so I doubt it's hungry. Doesn't respond to my question. Of course, it's a cat. It'd be pretty freaky if it did. Sorry, but I'm gonna go to sleep. Fuck you, cat. I want to give it some attention, but I'm a little too tired tonight. I flick the light off and clamber into bed. Leth follows suit, which is rare. It prefers to sleep atop the covers, not under them. This little rascal has the habit of using my stomach as its pillow, too. I stroke its head for a moment before shutting my eyes and focusing on sleep. It's amazing how warm something with such a tiny body can be. Why did we talk about the cat for like 50 minutes? Is it relevant? Is the cat gonna come up? What the fuck is this? You know, there's a term for when one realizes they're dreaming. Lucid dreaming. Ever since Divine Selection began, I'd experienced at least once per week. What? Granted, I'm not quite sure what you can call what goes on at the Court of Fate a dream. Whatever, I find myself once again in a strange place, despite knowing for a fact I went to sleep not long ago. Who the fuck are you? So, dude. I'd say it's been a while, but like, I'm not sure if it actually has been or not. Don't comprehend you humans' perception of time too well. I've seen this guy once before. It's only now that I remember having met him in my dreams before, though. Oh, I take it you remember me? Or, like, remembered me just now? That's cool. Like, how you've lost some of your precious memories. It's a foregone conclusion you'll forget everything that occurs in this dream. What? We're gonna forget it? Then why is it happening? Who cares? I want to say something, but I find myself unable to speak. He dominates the conversation, as is, that'll happen when you can't talk. It may be, like, rude or whatever, since you run a coffee shop, but I'm actually a lot more interested in tea. Coffee fucking sucks, dude. In fact, I've been aching for some good afternoon tea for, like, a while now. Alas, not only do I have no one to talk to here, there aren't any tea sets or whatever. Such a shame. This man knows who I am. I'm not sure how important that realization is when I'm likely to forget everything else he says, though. Well, I mean, enough of that for now. There's no time to waste when one of your lost memories has made its way back to you. It's precisely for that reason I made the effort to bring you here and offer my congratulations. So, like, congrats, dude! Which memory, you ask? Oh, it seems I appeared before you actually recovered the memory by mistake. Whoa, spoilers? Understanding your concept of time is truly a difficult task. Its flow may be linear, but the rate at which it moves always throws me. Anyway, take this opportunity to recall some prior events before morning comes. Okay, bye. Cool. I'll think about the past real quick. Oh yeah, I remember the past. I'm standing alone in the Court of Fate. I'm on the same platform as usual, but for some reason all the other participants are here.
Good evening, you proper lost lamb. I'm afraid to inform you you've become a slave to fate.
Didn't this happen already? I thought this was like the beginning. A girl dressed all in white addresses me. It's Parka. You know Parka. She stands in front of me despite the fact there's no solid surface beneath her feet. I watch from a distance as both of us face one another. This already happened, right? I conclude this is one of my memories. Okay, since I'm able to watch myself as though I'm a third party. How come I can't see you, though?
Your spirit has found itself roaming the corridors of fate after your passing. Fear not. Fate has not changed its course, and thus you will become a participant in divine selection.
She begins to tell me about divine selection. She explains all the rules. I watch myself try to get a word in every now and then, but she ignores each attempt. Everything she's explaining here is the exact same as what she told us during the first election. Memories of an explanation I'd heard before. This was taking place right after I died. That's shitty. Considering the in-depth explanation he's giving, it's no wonder she was unimpressed with me when I asked her about it again. Well, remembering this explanation of rules I already know is more pointless than one would expect, too.
However, do keep in mind one thing. Fate initially foretold all 12 participants would gather in the same place at the same time 12 weeks from now. It's a place that bears significance to all involved. Even if that future has now been lost, it is what will be referred to as the final destination for your individual fates. You know, like the movies. Should you find yourself as the last remaining participant, please make your way to this place.
You'll know the one. Trust me, you know the place.
Reaching the final destination will serve as proof that you are alive, and thus overwrite your death for good. Or for evil, I don't know. As for what will happen should you fail to reach it, well, I would hate to spoil the surprise should that come to pass.
She didn't mention a specific time or place, which is remarkably unhelpful, actually. Instead, she placed her finger on my brow. She closed her eyes, and then the finger began to glow. E.T. Phone Home, am I right? Look at these movie references. She didn't need words for this part. With that touch, Parka etched the final destination into our minds. She couldn't have picked, like, a better movie. Do, like, Jaws or Tremors. Maybe Deep Blue Sea? You know, like a real good movie. A winner. My eyes jolt open after a night of sleep. I remember exactly what I saw in my dream. Hey, cool, we do remember. Immediately after my death, I was taken to the Court of Fate and met with Parka. She explained all the rules I'd heard during the first election. No wonder she was so unimpressed when I asked again. I know, you said this already. I'm fairly sure she told me my cause of death and regret as well, but I can't remember any of that. Well, that's shitty. I remember something far more important, though. The final destination of our individual fates. That was the first time I'd heard of it. Becoming the final participant alone isn't enough. I need to go to a place after, too. Yeah, that'll be really hard. What? It's a place I know quite well. It's the same park where I talked things out with Naomi. It's a huge park in Shinjuku. Well, that sounds really easy. A place from which you can see a clock tower-esque building in the distance there. It's one of my favorite spots. That's where all 12 of us are meant to gather, the final destination of our individual fates. I can't believe it. I can. That's not that weird. Of all the things that are weird, that's like at the bottom of the list. It's hard not to be surprised. It's easy not to be surprised, actually. That park is really close to my house. 12 weeks after Divine Selection begins, or 7 weeks from now, the weather will likely be so nice, so I can't say I wouldn't have gone for a walk there. Besides, it's also a popular tourist spot. Sonia mentioned she'd planned to come to Japan with her family in the first place. It wouldn't be surprising if she would have gone there with them. As for the others, I'm not sure why they'd go there. But the fact remains it's a popular spot. There are plenty of reasons to check it out. It also explains the deja vu I felt there when talking with Naomi. Parker showed me that the scenery there once before. I'm not sure how to describe the sensation I experienced when she did so. I guess it'd be similar to the feeling you get when you're dreaming. Now it all makes sense. What? What does? I can finally answer a number of questions I've been asking myself. It explains why most participants are Japanese, as well as why those who aren't have gathered in Japan. Birkin never did explain why that particular place is our final destination. Much like how she never discussed how or why divine selection exists, she probably deemed it to be unnecessary information. Either way, I've managed to regain important memory regarding the whole process. By the time I finished processing this revelation, I noticed there's a certain feline not in my bed anymore. I guess it slinked off at some point while I was asleep. Is that motherfucker that guy? That surfer bro? Is that the cat? Fuck you. You know, that cat sure knows how to pull off a disappearance. Oh god. I let an awful cat pun slip out without even thinking about it. At least there's no one at the door. I might have gone ahead and elected myself for elimination if someone caught me saying that. Just as I start to get ready for school, I check the time my heart nearly jumps out of my throat. I must have been in a pretty deep sleep. I woke up half an hour later than usual. Oh no, we're gonna be late for school. What a wacky situation or something. I don't fucking care. Oh man, this is dramatic. Alright, but before we start poking around Yushishi's house, I'm going to draw this episode to a close. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and shoot you next week for more Fatal 12 with yours truly. I'll see you guys then.